Satnam Sri Vaheguru Sahib Jiyo. Satnam Sri Vaheguru Sahib Jiyo. Ek oankar Satnam Karta Purkh Nirpao Nirvar Akal Murat Ajuni Sapang Gur Prasad Jap Ad Sach Jugad Sach Happy Sach Nanak Hosi Pi Sach Jap Ad Sach Jugad Sach Happy Sach Nanak Hosi Pi Sach Mook Uchara Sastra Khat Ping Giran Chad Jaye Andalakha Badro Suna Jo Kal Kripa Karaye Andalakha Badro Suna Jo Kal Kripa Karaye. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So Sangat Ji, today we're going to carry on with the Sukhmani Sahib translations, and they'll be done in English for the ease of understanding. I will give a recap of what we've done so far, especially the last session. But before I do that, I just want to mention how blessed we are that we've been blessed that Sri Dasam Granth Ji Maharaj is present with us at this Gurukar. So a kind family has given the Gurukar a saroop of Sri Dasam Granth Ji Maharaj. It's really important for me to mention this because the Sangat is allowed to have darshan. Gyani Ji has said that whoever has that ichha, whoever has that desire can simply just ask, and Gyani Ji will take us to do darshan of Maharaj Das Saroop. I also must mention that Maharaj has the equivalence of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, because as much as we all read Japji Sahib, we all read Jaupe Sahib as well. Japji Sahib comes from Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, but Jaupe Sahib comes from Sri Dasam Granth Ji Maharaj. So let's not push Maharaj aside and let's show that interest. Hopefully in the next Divan at Holla Mahalla, we can even have Maharaj here in the Darbar so that everybody can have their darshan, everybody can see Maharaj Das Saroop. It's really important for us to keep this in mind, because if we do their part, I'm pretty sure we all know Jaupe Sahib off by head, and maybe we don't have Japji Sahib Kantha, but then why don't we give them the same respect? It's really important for us to learn to respect Sri Dasam Granth Ji Maharaj as well, because they are no different. It's the Bani of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, and we're so lucky that it's finally been blessed to us here at this Gurukar. So I do encourage everybody to make a point of doing darshan. I'll also add that at one of our main takhts, we have 5 takhts, Panj takht, and one of them is Sri Hazur Sahib. Over there's Prakash of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj and Sri Dasam Granth Ji Maharaj at the same time, at all times. So it's just our ignorance and unawareness that we don't get darshan of Sri Dasam Granth Ji Maharaj. But if they have chosen to bless us with this opportunity, let's not let it go to waste. We don't have the right to think that we brought Maharaj here. Maharaj has chosen to be here. So let's be so grateful for that, and let's all look to do the darshan of Maharaj. On that note, there will be a Holla Mahalla program on the 8th, which is next Sunday. It will be led by the children who learn at the Pathshala at this Gurukar. They'll be doing Kirtan, and myself, I'll be doing the Katha. So please bless us with your darshan as well. We'll start with a recap from the previous session of the Sri Sukhmani Sahib Ji translations. Maharaj has been talking about Simran, which we can refer to as meditation, when in reality it simply means remembrance. What we need to question is, what are we constantly remembering? We're constantly remembering our jobs, our families, our belongings. We don't forget them, but how often do we remember the one who's given us everything? Daat pyari visreya daatar. Maharaj aap kende aa sanu. Guru Sahib is telling us, they're reminding us, ke sanu aa daat pyari ho gaya. To us, the gifts that we've received have become more precious than the giver himself. Visreya means to forget. Daatar is the one who gives us these gifts. So what Maharaj is explaining to us is that they've given us so much, and as much as we're grateful for everything that we've been blessed with, we're also attached to it. And that attachment is the reason that we're forgetting that there's only one giver. There is someone bigger than us who's giving us everything that we have, including our family, our jobs, our houses, our cars, everything that you can think of, even our phones, things that fit in our pockets, is all given to us by someone a lot greater than we are. So Maharaj talks about the fal of Simran, what we gain by doing Simran. I just want to clarify what Simran is. It is the remembrance, but there is no one way to do it. It can be done in various ways. It can be done by sitting down the way we are right now and japping Naam, what we would call the Vaheguru Mantar, by saying the word Vaheguru, that's a form of Simran. By doing Kirtan, that's a form of Simran, because through that Kirtan we're remembering the Creator. It could also be by journaling and reflecting upon yourself, connecting to who you truly are, breaking past these layers of identity of the body, of the mind, the feelings, the emotions, everything that we go through. When we break past that and dig deeper, we can also use that as a tool to help us connect to the one greater than us, because that one is not an external being. It's a light, it's an energy, it's a power. We just have to find the way that suits us best to connect to it. And we'll find out why it's important. So last time, Maharaj blessed us and they said, Prabh ka simran andin jaga. They blessed us with this beautiful Bani and this Pankti specifically, where they said, as we connect to our true selves, as we meditate, as we do this Simran, the result is that andin jaga. We will forever be awake. We might say that's ridiculous, you have to sleep at night. But Guru Sahib here is telling us that we'll be awake in our sleep as well. Not physically, but we will be awake from this illusion, this Maya that's blinding us, this trap, this attachment, this ego, anger, lust, jealousy and hatred, all these negative emotions that we feel, or even extreme happiness, but the source of that happiness is something external. Like we get a new car and it makes us so happy. Or our child passes their exams and it makes us so happy. The cause of our happiness is something external. What Maharaj is explaining to us, that we can tap into that happiness internally. It doesn't have to be controlled by external factors. So here Guru Sahib is saying, Andin jaga, ke din raat, during the day and at night will be awake from that sleep of ignorance, from that sleep of Maya. Because Guru Sahib continuously explains to us that this world is an illusion. The reason we don't see it is because we are attached. And this attachment is shown in many different ways. The one that I'll be focusing on is fear. Because in the next Pankti, Maharaj says, Prabh ka simran pao na beapa. Beapa mean lagda, ke dar nahi lagda. This is mind-blowing to the likes of myself and others, because we're all scared. We all have fear. I bet there's nobody sat here who can say, I'm not scared. And the thing that we're most scared about is death. And recently, there's been a lot of funerals, even at this Gurukar as well. And I think just being there in the moment has opened my eyes to the reality that yes, we read it in Gurbani, we say Nirpau in our Mool Mantar, which we did just now. We read Panktiyan that tell us that the more you meditate on the fearless, we become fearless. But it's only when we come to the situation itself and see the result is when we find out how much are we truly connecting to and applying this Bani. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's not okay to come to a funeral and cry. It's more than okay. Express yourself, feel your emotions, but connect back with that Gurbani that's saying, Prabh ka simran pao na beapa, that we won't be affected by that fear of losing someone, that fear of losing our own physical body as well, because I'm pretty sure we all have that fear. But what is it a result of? That attachment. We are attached to these bodies, hence we're scared of losing them. We're attached to our loved ones, hence we're afraid of losing them. We're attached to our parents, our children. It's all attachment. It's not wrong, but it's something that has to be realized. And Maharaj is so bayant, they're so merciful that they're blessing us with this awareness right now, as they give us these panktiyan. And I just want to make it a bit more tangible by bringing in itihas, by bringing in our history. So it's very typically where I'll sit here and I'll always reference a male figure in our history and say, look how fearless they were, look at how they fought so bravely. But today I'd like to speak about the bibiyan, the females in the jail of Mir Mannu. I'm pretty sure we all know the Sakhi, but how much do we implement the teachings into our life? Because as I mentioned, I've sat through a few funerals and we cry for people that we've lost. Even if it's someone as old as me, I'll still sit here in this big age of mine and I'll cry for someone that I've lost, who's older than me and maybe sometimes younger. Then I reflected back on this incident at Mir Mannu Diya Jela, where they had children who weren't even walking. They were infants that were being held in their mother's hands. And those infants were taken away and they were chopped up right in front of their mothers. They were beheaded, they were cut into small pieces, and they were put in a har, a garland, in a thread, and they were put around those mothers' necks. As a mother, it's something you can't even imagine. But as a child, for myself, it's something that I can't imagine. I'm scared today of losing my parents. What were those parents going through at that time? What were those mothers going through at that time when they didn't shed a tear? They didn't go to protect their children. Instead, they fought back. They were held captive in the jail, and what happened was Mir Mannu had said that when they gave them roti, prashada, to survive, they used to give them half of a half. They used to give them a quarter roti each, and each piece was covered in salt, so that they couldn't swallow it. It wouldn't taste nice. It would cause blisters and burn their mouth. But the only reason they would eat it is to survive the next day. As if that wasn't enough, they had to piece sawa man of atta. So for those of us who've seen a chakki, and we know what piecing is, it's grounding wheat into atta, what we use for rotiyan. And those females who are being tortured, having their children cut up right in front of them, are now being given a quarter roti, which is one burki for some of us, covered in salt and made to piece sawa man of atta on a daily basis. Why do I mention this? Not to make the mood dull, but to link it back to what Maharaj has said. Prabh ka simran pao na beapa. Maharaj is telling you it's possible. And not enough that they're telling us, they're showing us that it has happened in our history. We've had those brave-hearted mothers who sat there, went through all this torture, didn't cry, but instead fought back. I was listening to a katha a few days ago, and they actually had this bolli in Punjabi, this saying of what the mothers would say back to Mir Mannu and the people who worked at that jail, and they would taunt them in return. After being tortured, after being deprived of food and sleep, the mothers were so fierce, they had so much fight in them that they would taunt the gods and Mir Mannu himself instead of giving in and saying, let me protect my children. This is something that we can learn from. Maharaj has showed us various examples in our itihas, in our history, where there's been an expression of fearlessness beyond our understanding. We can't fathom how they did what they did, But Guru Sahib is telling us how they did it. Prabh ka Simran. When you connect to your true self, the one inside of you, the light inside of you, you realize that we are beyond all this, beyond the attachment, beyond these shackles, these bounds that are holding us down. Maharaj in Gurbani also says, Kete maat pita suttiya. They tell us ke jaat asankh ant nahi mere. Jaat asankh, I've had so many reincarnations, ant nahi mere, that there is no end. 84 lakh June, 8.4 million life forms is what we've already been through. And that's for each one of us. They're saying in each one of those life forms, we had parents, we had siblings, we had children. Whether we were animals or plants, they have families too. Some of us have probably been human as well. This is not our first time. And Guru Sahib is explaining to us ki kete maat pita suttiya, that I've had so many mothers, so many fathers, so many children, so many siblings, but yet I hold on to these ones as if they're my only, because of attachment. It was those mothers who were sat there in those jails who didn't cling to their children or their spouses because they knew these are not my only. I've had some before, and I probably will have more later. This is how you love beyond attachment. It's not to say that they didn't love their children. They did. It's not to say they didn't love their husbands. They did. But they learned how to love them without being attached to them. So if they were ever separated from them, it wouldn't be the end of the world. The big question is, how do we do this? Because I'm hoping we're all striving for that. I'm hoping we all want to love our families without being so attached that on our deathbed they're all that we can think of. Because Guru Sahib also gives us the result of that. Antakal. Maharaj has given us a whole shabad on Antakal, what happens in our final moments. And they say when we're fixated on our children, on our loved ones, we come back as pigs. Maharaj is telling us out of the 84 lakh June what we will be reincarnated as according to what we're attached to. The only reason they're telling us this is for our own benefit. That if we can break from these shackles now, we can attain that liberation here. We don't have to wait for our final moments. We don't have to wait for an afterlife. We can have it all right here and right now. Loving our loved ones whilst remaining attached. Why do I insist on emphasizing on this? Because in this generation we have this concept of you only live once, YOLO. I'll do whatever I want because it's my only time. That's not true. There's going to be another chance as well. And whatever we do now will dictate whatever happens next. So let's not waste this precious time that's been blessed to us. Let's work towards serving a greater purpose in our life compared to the usual. Go to school, get a degree, get a job, get married, have kids, get a promotion, get a bigger house, get another car. There's always something we're chasing. Let's look at the end goal. Where do we want to be when we're breathing our final breaths? Do we really want to do this all over again? Because if we do, Maharaj will more than happily give it to us. But if not, the time is now. Maharaj says, Prani, tu aya laha lain, lagga kit gufakkade, sab mukdi challi rain. Hey Prani, each and every one of us here is the Prani. Sadde vich pran chalde a. That's how we breathe. Those are our swas. Maharaj is referring directly to each and every one who is breathing in this moment right now. Prani. They go ahead to say tu, speaking very specifically to each and every one of us. Tu aya laha lain. Why have you truly come here in this human form? Why have we been blessed with this human body at this time right now? Laha lain. What is this laha? What is this profit? The only laha we're here for is self-realization. Is to realize and understand who we truly are. To break these layers of identity, to break these barriers, to break these shackles, this bondage. And the reason I use these specific words is because Maharaj has used them in Gurbani. We even refer to Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj as Bandi Chhor Data. Bandana nu tod deya. But which bandhan? Not the physical ones, these emotional ones. Attachment. Maharaj is telling us, Tu aya laha land. Then they question us, Lagga kittu fakkade. What have you entangled yourself in instead of realizing who you are? We all know what we're entangled in. Our jobs, our families. Everything around of us is what we're entangled in, what we're attached to. And then Maharaj hits us with this realization. Sab mukdi challi rehn. We're not here forever. Every day is passing faster than the other. Every night is passing whether you sleep or not. Every year is moving faster than the other. Sab mukdi challi rehn. Nobody's going to stay here forever. So the question is then, do we want to sit here at each other's funerals, crying and regretting and holding that attachment? Or do we want to sit here supporting each other, realizing that everybody is going to go, but let's have that strength to let them go without that attachment? It's not wrong to cry. Feel your feelings, feel your emotions, but understand that there's something a lot deeper. That even if we're crying at the loss of a loved one, let's realize that we can let them go with grace as well, because everybody has to go. And I'm pretty sure it's not as painful as those bibiyan who sat in the jail of Mir Mannu. But think about how they did it, because they were attached to their true self. Prabh ka Simran. They did that Simran in whatever way that they did. Whatever way they chose to connect, they managed to do it. They had reached that level where they had their very own children cut up right in front of them. In Itihas, in the pictures that we see, the children, their heads were on spears. As a parent, take a minute to feel what that feels like. As a child, take a moment to feel it. It's painful, yes. But it's only through that pain that we'll break through and come to a greater realization that when you connect to your true self, we won't feel the feeling that we're feeling right now. That fear of loss, that pain. Maharaj gives us that guarantee that they can make it go. We just have to do the work. So before we go into what Maharaj has to bless us with today, I think it's really important, and considering we have so much Sangat here today, if we can all come together and do some Simran, if we can just say the Vaheguru Mantar a few times, because each one of us will make it multiply. If I sit at home and do it alone, and you guys sit at home and do it alone, and then we come together and do it together, it will definitely make a difference. And Maharaj explained this to us last week as well, that when we sit and do our own meditations at home in our own ways, we get this sukham hankar, this subtle ego, which tells you you're the only one doing it. But that's not true. So let's all come together and join in for a few moments. Let's just repeat the Vaheguru Mantar, bounce off each other's energy and vibrations, and then we'll go into today's translations where Maharaj again is talking about the Phal of Simran. So let's get a taste of that Simran first. Feel free to close your eyes. And if you don't wish to say it out loud, just take it through your ears and into your heart and try your best to connect to something a lot greater than you are. Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. 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 So as we meditate, as we sit down to do this Simran, it's important to realize what exactly we're doing. I very intentionally broke up the mantra into the char akhar that it's comprised of, because as we sat here in this moment, what we said was Va, you are so amazing because you're here with me right now. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to wait till you go home. We could have achieved it in this very moment. Gu, darkness, agyanta, of ignorance, this sleep that we're sleeping in whilst we're awake, Maya, attachment, the illusion. Ru, the light that shows us it's all false. The light that shines upon this attachment, upon this greed, upon this anger, lust and desire. Irkha, jealousy. Nindya, chugli, gossip and slander. We do it with so much ease, we don't even realize we're doing it. We get angry with so much ease, we don't realize we're angry. It just takes over. We sit and gossip very casually without realizing what we're doing. It's only when we're blessed with that Ru, that light that shines forth, and you hear that voice saying, hey, why did you have to say that? Can you feel the emotion you're feeling right now? Your face is, once the words have already been said, once the actions have been done. Let's continue true self so that we can stop before the damage is done. Or we can simply have that realization before it's too late. So this week, in today's translations, Maharaj speaks about the phal of Simran, the fruits that we will then receive, the rewards of connecting to who we truly are. Maharaj also points out things that we fall for, superstitions. Maharaj khandan karte hai ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ. They tell us don't fall into these superstitions. They're of no use. Don't go to these fake babbe because they're of no use. If we come here to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, we do matha take, we say sagal dwar ko chhad ka gahyo tuharo dwar. How can we then leave their dwar and go to someone else's? Because Maharaj is taking too long. They didn't hear my ardas, I didn't get what I want. Let me go to some Baba to give me a mantar. Maybe that will work a lot faster. Then you can't bring that same face in front of Guru Sahib and say Sagala Dwar ko chhad ka, because you haven't. Sagala Dwar means every other door that's not Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. It could be Babbe within our own religion. Could be Babbe who have the pek of an Amritari, who wear the chola, they have the attire. But we chose to leave Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj to go to them, for them to fix our problems, because Maharaj wasn't working fast enough. We don't have, that doesn't exist. Call it a luxury, but we don't have it. If we come to Maharaj and we tell them that we've left every other door that's not yours, and then we put our head down, let's mean it. And this is what Guru Sahib is going to teach us today. Maharaj starts with Prabhaka Simran, Rid Siddh No Nid. Here Maharaj is unfolding a really interesting topic. And they do it in such a beautiful way because they link it with the next Pankti, Prabhaka Simran, Gyan Dhyan Tat Buddh. So if we're ever to do a job and we decide to use this Pankti, ਕਿ ਰਿੱਧੀਆਂ ਸਿੱਧੀਆਂ ਆਵਣ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ. Let's not forget that Maharaj in the same breath has said Gyan Dhyan Tat Buddh. The translation, the arth, the meaning, I will do it together because we can't separate one from the other. So Prabh Ka Simran, by doing this Simran in whatever way that connects us the best, could be the way we did it, the traditional Vaheguru Mantar, Kirtan, could be many different ways. They say as we do this, Prabh Ka Simran, Riddh, which is Riddhya. The meaning of a riddhi, is actually the ability to multiply anna. Anna is food. So maybe we've never experienced that kind of a shortage, but back in the days it was a big thing where not everybody knew where they would get their next meal. And so some people would meditate and pray for their next meal. If we have all the meals that we do in a day, 3 to 4, 1 or 2, if we're not praying for them, let's at least be grateful. Let's at least take a moment to say thank you for this food on my plate. But back in the days, maybe everybody didn't know where their next meal was coming from, so they used to do this simran, this meditation, prayer, in order to get their next meal. And a riddhi is when you have kind of like a superpower where you can then multiply that anna, that food, so that it never runs out. And this has been shown to us various times by various Mahapurush, by great spiritually elevated beings who have shown us that they can actually multiply the food so that it doesn't run out. Let's come back to what Guru Sahib says. Guru Sahib reminds us that yes, we can tap into these things, but we shouldn't for the sake of a miracle. In order to prove to someone how great you are that this is something you can do, that's abuse. Because firstly, it doesn't come easy. But if we are blessed to have a riddhi, then Maharaj warns us to not show it off like a miracle, a superpower. So a riddhi is the ability to multiply anna, to never have a shortfall of food. But Guru Sahib has already written how much food we will have throughout our life. So let's not interfere with that too much. A siddhi, because it's siddh, literally, it's having that antarjamta, knowing what somebody else is thinking, knowing what somebody else is feeling, having the ability to elevate, to levitate, to literally rise above the ground. So if we reflect back to Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj's times, and we think about the Bani Japji Sahib, where it was spoken about before it was compiled, was on the Sumer Parbat, on a mountain that was only accessible to Siddhs because they had this superpower to almost fly to the top of that mountain. And he said that nobody else can join us here because if you don't have the power, Maharaj, because they had all the powers but they never showed them, they went to the top of the Sumer Parbat and they had that conversation with the Siddhs. The reason they got their name Siddh is because they had these Siddhiyan. Siddhiyan meaning superpowers. Again, Maharaj tells us, let's not get too involved in all of this, because in their Bani they say, Nav Niddhi Atara hai Siddhi Piche Lagya Phir hai. That they will then run behind us, but the condition is Jo Har Hirday Sada Vasai. If we have then enshrined that connection within our heart, if we truly are connected, we will have access to these Riddhiya, Siddhiya, but Maharaj tells us not to chase them because they're less superior than connecting to that one source. And once we connect, Maharaj tells us that they will in return follow us. Then we have no Nidhiyan. We have 9 Nidhiyan, which again, it comes under Asan, Basan, Pu, Kanak, Ratavahi, Handavahi. So these are all basically our day-to-day luxuries. Ratavahi, having a mode of transport, a car. Asan, Basan, you have a place to sleep. You have shelter, a roof over your head. You have clothes for your body, multiple. So here Maharaj is explaining to us that these are things that people pray for. Some of us pray for it till today. But they tell us if we just connect, if we say that prayer to our true essence, these things Maharaj says, Prabh ka simran, gyan dhyan tat buddh. They say this is what you really have to focus on. But before we go to that, let's question, why did Maharaj say that who have these spiritual powers? Why is Maharaj making us aware of it again? We come back to the point, Sagala dwar ko chhad ka, gahyo tuharo dwar. कि वो बाबा कहंदा सी कि मिर्च टांग लो नज़र नहीं लगू. Let's not fall for it. We don't have to hang mirch and nimbu outside our house. It's of absolutely no use. We don't have to go to those babbe who give you a kala taga or we mant padke. Okay, that their mantra is more powerful than yours. That baba will sit there and whisper whatever magical mantra he has and give you that taga, and now you'll never face hardship in your life. You sitting down with the Vaheguru. Do we see what we get ourselves stuck in? That's why Maharaj is saying that why do you go to them when you have the ability within yourself? There's various people out there with various types of powers, and some people can read your palms, people can do all sorts. Maharaj tells you don't need them. Prabh ka simran, rid siddh no nid. For as long as you connect to your true self, for as long as you connect that Ik Akal Purakh Vaheguru, Maharaj Mehr Karan will never miss a meal. Maharaj Kirpa Rakhan will always have Ann Di Daat, will always have food to eat. We don't need the superpower. What we need is that connection to the One. So let's focus on the second pankti, where Maharaj says, Gyan dhyan tat buddh. That if we do want something from doing this Simran, from connecting, what should it be? Gyan, which is knowledge. But there's two types of knowledge. There's book knowledge, which we can acquire by reading, and there's knowledge from experience, which we gain once we go through something, once we feel something. Maharaj talks about the same with that one. I can sit here for another hour and I can keep going on about how we have that ek jot swaroop, sab mein hai jot, jot hai soy. I can give you various panktiyan from Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj proving that we all have that exact same light within us. Or I can tell you to go home and experience it. It's two types of knowledge. So Gyan, let's first ask for that physical Gyan, where we read those panktiyan to understand ke sab mein hai jot, jot hai soy. Man tu jot swaroop hai apna mool pachan. Ke tu hi aa jot swaroop, it's nobody else, it's you. Let's ask for that knowledge first, and then take it a step further to say, now Maharaj bless me so I can feel it. Because what good is the knowledge if you can't feel it? If I come here and sit every day for an hour and I keep repeating this, that you have a light inside of you, you have a light inside of you. If you can't feel it, what good is it me repeating it on a daily basis? We need to start with the repetition. Repeat to yourself, Hey mere mana, tu jot swaroop hai. Tell yourself on a daily basis, oh my mind, my chanchal mind that's always distracting me, settle down for a second and recognize, who are you? Ask yourself this question every single day. It's not repetition. It's not boring. You will get answers. One day you will discover I'm not this body. Because if someone was to chop off my hand right now, would I say that they have chopped me? Do I exist without my hand? Yes. It's just a part of my body. That's the realization we could have on the first day. On the second day, we might say, I have all these thoughts, make them stop. The fact that you are saying make them stop, who wants them to stop? Who are you? Who's the one saying make it stop? Man tikda hi nahi. Bas bolli janda this, that, or something or the other. Who's listening? To take it further, who's watching the listener? So you've got someone talking non-stop. You've got someone listening. But then you've got someone observing the one who's listening. So who are you really? Are you the one talking? Are you the one listening, or are you the one watching the two of them? Or is there a fourth? That's for you. Simran, Gyan. Dhyan is when we take away this element of mantik daini. We'll say, I really try to do my Japji Sahib every day. I've tried in the morning, I've tried in the evening, I've tried at night, I've tried in the shower. Let's beg for that dhyan so that our surti can finally attach, our consciousness can finally attach to that ek, Akal Purakh Vaheguru, to that light, where we can say, now I'm at peace. And what's the result? Tat Buddh. Tat means essence, Buddh is your buddhi. Buddhi is made up of all the aspects of your brain. So English is very basic compared to Punjabi or Gurmukhi, because in English we'll just have heart and mind, brain, but in Gurmukhi you have your antahakaran, which is made up of your man, chit, buddh, ahankar. All of that is one. So instead of breaking it up, let's just understand what Guru Sahib is saying. Prabhaka Simran, Gyan, that knowledge, that experience, Dhyan, that we have the ability to concentrate, to connect. To what are we connecting? Tat, the essence of our buddhi. The essence is who we truly are. The name of that Gyan is Brahm Gyan. Brahm meaning one. That in each of every one of us, it's that one. Again, we circle right back to the way we started. We are just one. Ek Oankar Sat Gur Prasad. So here Maharaj is telling us what to not focus on, which is the Rid, Siddh, Nau, Nidh, and what to ask for in return. The Gyan, the Dhyan, the Tat, the Buddh. That Maharaj bless us with that Brahm Gyan, so that we're not so concerned with these Riddhiya and Siddhiya. We don't want these superpowers then. Maharaj goes on to say, Prabhaka Simran Jap Tap Puja. Here Maharaj is talking about the greatness of Simran. That doing Simran in whatever way connects you best is greater than Jap, Tap, Puja. Jap could simply be to sit down and chant a mantra, whichever mantra that is, Vaheguru mantra, Bij mantra, Mool mantra, whatever mantra we choose to. For as long as we're sitting down and chanting, it's called Jap. Tap is penance, where we see in different religions and different instances where you've had people hang themselves upside down in order to reach God, the external God, and do all the things. Maharaj is saying we don't have to. Waking up, giving yourself 5 minutes to truly connect is tap in itself. When you have to sit down and fight your thoughts, fight your demons, that's your tap. Puja. There's various ways of doing puja. We know that Hindus do it to the Shivling, and they chara dudh, and all these physical things, which we could say that we do in the form of matha tek, but that's ignorance because we don't really know what we're doing. Maharaj is saying everything that we think is a form of puja is ritualistic. We don't have to engage in that because Prabhaka Simran is greater. When we come here and do Matha Tek to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, it's not a ritual. We're not coming here and putting our head down because we've been told that's what we have to do. We don't do a parkarma because we get brownie points for it, because it's something that we have to do. We need to understand why we do what we do. When we come to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, we beg, Maharaj, let me connect to that one through your teachings. Hence, I lower my head in front of you. As if that's not enough, on your matha you have your lake, on your hands you have your lake. That's why you have palm readers who claim to read your palms and tell you your future. If we place our matha in our hands in front of our Guru, Maharaj sada lekha swar dinde. They clear our lekha. On our hands it could be written that we are to break a leg. When we put it in front of Maharaj, and we truly from the depths of our heart connect to them, Maharaj can then take away that broken leg and change it to a thorn in your foot. What would you take? Breaking a leg or having a thorn in your foot? Or stubbing your toe on the side of a bed? in that moment it's painful, you don't want it. Not realizing what it could have been. And that's why we do Matha Tek. Not because it's a ritual, not because it's a form of puja. But Maharaj says, even if we were to do this japa, this tapa, this puja, what's greater is the Simran. What's greater is actually connecting. Because only then will your japa, tapa and puja be safal. If we try and do everything else without connecting, it doesn't account for anything. It's all those zeros and there's no one to give it value. Prabh ka Simran bin sa duja. Maharaj is telling us, as we do this Simran, as we connect to who we truly are, binasa means to be destroyed, duja is another. There will be no duality. There will be no me and you. There will be no other. Maharaj says, Allah paakang paak hai, shak karo je dusar hoye. You might question, why did Maharaj use Allah? Because we have that duality. That why is Maharaj saying Allah to us? Allah is for Muslims only. Maharaj says, Allah paakang paak hai, shak karo je dusar hoye. If you think He is any different from that one, Akal Purakh Vaheguru, shak, appa shak kar diya. If your parents or someone you love ever came and told you ke tu shak kar diya mere te, how would you feel? It's threatening, it's heartbreaking. This is exactly what we do every time we consider that there is another. Whereas Maharaj explains to us in many different ways. Koi bola Ram Ram, koi Khudai, koi seva Gosaiya, koi alai. Are they wrong for worshipping in the way they know best? We'd rather sit and point fingers instead of trying to connect ourselves. So Maharaj is saying, Prabh ka Simran bin sa duja. That as we connect to that ek, we'll realize there is no duja. There is no number two, it's only one. Be that Allah, be that Ram, Krishna, Gopal. It's all one, Khuda. They're just different words referring to the exact same one. And they all have a very beautiful meaning. Let's look at Ram. Ram is not just a Hindu god. Ram is Jera Sareyan ch ramaya hoya. That means the one who's imbued in each and every one of us. Sareyan ch ramaya, the one who is inside each and every one sitting here today. Even the ones who are not sitting here today. Take it a step further in the animals. Further than that in the plants, in the rocks and the pebbles that we see when walking around. That's the true meaning of Ram. So if I sit down here and I just want to say Ram, 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 all I'm doing is reminding my crazy chanchal mind ke oh Ram sareyan chi ramaya hoya. It's not just that Hindu god. I can say Hari as well. Har. They're all different names for that one. And they all teach you something. Every time I sit here and say Ram, I'm reminding myself that yes, He's in me, He's in you and you and you and everybody around here. And it's only when we start there that then we will finally see it to be true. Then we can finally say, yes, He is in me and in you. And it's not even a He. So why do we call it He? Prabh ka Simran Tirath Isnani. Again, Prabh ka Simran. The meaning of ka and not ke is that there is no other way. If we say Prabh ke Simran Tirath Isnani, then we're saying that Tirath Isnan is the way that we will connect. When we say Prabh ka Simran, we're saying there is no other way. It's only the Simran that will get us to connect. So let's be really mindful as we go through the Bani. It's always ka, ka, ka. It's harder to say, but it's correct. Maharaj says, Prabh ka Simran Tirath Isnani. That yes, we may go to various pilgrimages. We might go to Sri Harmandir Sahib, the Golden Temple, and do Ishnan in the Sarovar, Tirath Ishnan. But what's greater than that? Prabh ka Simran. Why is Sri Harmandir Sahib different from all the other Tirath Ishnan in the world? Because that is the one Tirath which has Gurbani playing 24/7. Asa Diwar, Sukhmani Sahib, Sohilla Sahib, Rera Sahib. At every hour of the day and the night, there's Gurbani being played, recited, or sung. That Tirath, that water, is constantly surrounded by Gurbani. And water has memory, so that water holds the energy of that Gurbani. That's why when we go to that Tirath, miracles do happen. And they're not just stories, they truly do happen. That's not to say that the magic is in the water, the magic is in the Simran. Be that any sarovar that we go to, Guru Sahib is explaining to us, Prabh ka Simran Tirath Isnani. It's a lot greater to sit at home and jap naam, connect to your true self, than go all the way on a Tirath Yatra, forget to do your Simran, and come back empty-handed. Even when we go to Sri Harmandir Sahib, the Golden Temple, and we decide to do Ishnan in the Sarovar, when we decide to dip our whole body in the Sarovar, it's not so that we can get a nice picture for our Instagram. In that moment, we need to do our Simran as well. As you lower yourself into the water, we do say Vaheguru, Ramdas Sarovar Nate. We do recite these pangtiyan about the Sarovar itself. Because what's more important, dipping our body in that water, this body which is going to come to an end, or connecting internally. So Maharaj is reminding us, and they say it to us every day in Sri Japji Sahib. Sunaya, mannaya, man kita pao, antargat, tirath, malanao. Over here it's now because it means to bathe yourself in that tirath. But which tirath? Of listening, believing, and following. Having that pao, that loving fear. Not the one that they spoke about previously, which is the fear that we all have. So Maharaj reminds us on a daily basis that this tirath that we do within ourselves is a lot greater than the one we do externally, revolving our temporary physical bodies. Maharaj goes on to say, Prabh ka Simran dargah mani. Through this Simran, we will then have that man in dargah, in our afterlife. As much as we believe it or we don't, Guru Sahib has explained it to us in Gurbani. They say, Eh lok sukhiye, paralok suhele. And I bet we all read this pankti because we want sukh in this lok and in parlok as well. But what is Maharaj saying? Prabh ka Simran dargah mani. That we'll get it here and there if we connect to who we truly are. Because we don't have to wait for our afterlife to be liberated. We can get mukti right now. There were Singhs who achieved Biday Mukti just by listening to the katha of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. This was recited by Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, and there were 40 Singhs, if I'm not wrong, who got Biday Mukt. They got mukti while still in this body, just by listening to the meanings of all the Bani in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. We have access to the very same Bani, we have access to the very same Guru right in front of us. Who says we can't get that mukti? Prabh ka Simran dargah mani. The more we connect here, we'll reap the rewards there as well. But let's remember, when we go there, wherever it is, we're not going like this. The body stays here. So what is it that goes ahead that we're neglecting right now? Nourish that which is forever. Aad Sach, Jug Aad Sach, Happy Sach, Nanak Hosi Pi Sach. Pehla vi sach si, hun vi sacha, te parlok vich vi sachi hoga. Even when we are no more, that will always remain to be the truth. Nanak hosi pi sach. Even when we are no more, let's really understand that. When we no longer exist as Gurveen Kaur, that will still be the truth. So connect to that. It's really simple. Maharaj goes through it in all these panktiyan. But what they're telling us essentially is that that's all we have to do. Connect to what's true. Prabh ka Simran hoye so pala. This one is amazing because Maharaj gives us all the fal, then they tell us, what will our hal be what will we be like once we truly connect to that Prabhu's Simran? When we connect to that one inside of us, that light, that energy. They say, Hoye so pala. We'll realize, firstly, that we're all one. That's why in our das we say Sarbat da pala. We ask for it every single day, whether we know or we don't. We're asking for pala for the whole world, for all of creation, even the animals and the plants. We're asking for their pala. So Maharaj is saying the more we connect to that one, we'll realize that we are all one. We've come from that same creator, that same root, whether we're animals or humans. So we'll ask for the pala, the good for everybody, regardless of who they are, even our enemies, because enemies won't exist then. Maharaj also explains to us that Hoye so pala, that as we connect, we'll realize that everything that happens o palaiya. There is nothing else apart from pala. Maharaj's plan is the best plan. Whatever's happening, no matter how traumatizing, heartbreaking, devastating, the loss that we have to face, the hardships that we have to navigate ourselves through, the difficulties in this life that we're facing, Maharaj says through Simran, we'll realize, oh, vi palaiya. We lose, we gain, we fall, we rise, pala. Hukma andar sab ko, bahar hukm na koi. Don't cry about your hardships, because we're all in the same boat. Maharaj says, hukma andar sab ko. That's why it's a pabba and not a babba. If it was a babba, it wouldn't have that sab. The reason it has that emphasis is so you can remind yourself, it's not just me. Sab, it's everybody. Nanak dukhiya sab sansar. Again, the exact same sab with that pabba. You can't go to someone and not hear about their misery. Sab sansar, the whole world. We don't even know if our pets are happy. So Maharaj is saying, Hoye so pala, that everything, regardless of how hard it is, we will come to realize that that's what's best. Whether it's losing someone, which can be difficult, Maharaj explains to us, they guide us through these difficult times because testing times will always come. They're not going to go anywhere. It's we who get stronger. The more we connect, the stronger we get. Again, I'll take you back to those bibiyan, those mothers in Mir Manu's jail. That wasn't easy. Nobody can sit here and say that's easy. But they had the strength. Where did they get it from? How did their strength grow on a daily basis? Because they weren't there for one day or two. They were there for a while. How did they have that courage every single day to eat quarter roti filled with loon so that you can't, oh hazam nahi hunda, pee sawa man of atta, have your own children cut up in front of you and still say Dhan Vaheguru? How? Hoye so pala. They realized whatever's happening, regardless of how hard it is, palaiya. So let's not forget that we are all inside this hukam. Whatever we're going through, regardless of how testing, how challenging, the more we accept it, the easier it will be to get through it. The game is all of acceptance. But we can only have this acceptance if we drop the ego. The ego will never let us accept. How can this happen to me? Do you not know who I am? I have to go through this pain. Who's the I? Who's the one going through the pain? Who is it happening to? The person on the outside? If it's physical pain? If it's mental, is it the voice on the inside? Is it the listener? Is it the one watching, the one listening? Who is truly in pain? We don't even know. How dare he say that to me? But who did he say it to? Gurveen on the outside? Gurveen, all those thoughts that are going on in her head, or the one who's listening to those thoughts? We amplify the thoughts by 10. Someone says something, we blow it way out of proportion. Who's doing it though? Is that who you truly are? Because that's not what Maharaj tells us. So Maharaj is telling us that we will come to that point where we'll realize कि सब कुछ भला ही आ, ताइयों आपां सरबत दा भला ही मंगदे आ. Finally, Maharaj say, Prabh ka simran sufala phala. What's that sreshth phal? We're here talking about the phal, the rewards of japping naam, of connecting, of doing simran. Sreshth phal ki hunda? Yes, we'll get it all. We'll get the gyan, we'll get the dhyan of our tata buddhi. We'll do the jap, we'll do the tap, we'll do the puja. We'll get the rid, siddh, no, nid. We can even get superpowers. But what is it that we truly want? What is that sreshth phal, sufala phala? Here Maharaj is telling us what that supreme reward is. And they go on to explain to us that it's this removal of the ego. Prabh ka simran sufala phala. The greatest reward that we can get from doing simran, from connecting to who we truly are, is that we will shed these layers of ego. We will gain a deeper understanding of Brahma Gyanata. Again, Brahm meaning that one. The day we can truly, to be honest, the day we reach there, we won't even say it with our mouth. We won't sit here and say that I see no difference between me and you, because you'll be way beyond that. So the day we can truly experience the shedding of our ego and not seeing another, not constantly being controlled by these panch chor who are stealing from us, that's the day we've got the sreshth phal, sab to uttam. We've got the biggest reward that we can possibly ask for. The amazing thing is we don't even ask for it. Maharaj tells us this is the utmost supreme thing that you can ask for, but we don't ask for it. Not once do we say, Maharaj Brahm Gyan da dahat baksho. Maharaj, bless me so that my eyes are clear enough to see that I have no enemies. Bless me so that I don't fear anyone. Nirpa, nirvar, they're not just words. The Mool Mantar is not empty. The Mool Mantar is not just describing Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. The Mool Mantar is describing your true essence, describing who you truly are. You are Nirpa, the one who doesn't have fear. Why don't you have fear? Because you don't give it out. How can you expect yourself to not have fear when you want everybody to be scared of you? It's ironic, isn't it? The more you want people to be scared of you, the more scared you really will be. The more fear you will harbor in your heart. But when you don't want people to be scared of you, because being scared is not a form of respect. When you don't want people to fear you, then you won't harbor that fear in your heart. Nirvar, when you realize we are all one, we've come from the same creator, we're going back to the exact same place. So why does it matter? Why do we have that var with each other? Why do we want to outdo each other? I want to be the best, I want to be on top. We're all going to the same destination, one way or the other. If not now, 10 lifetimes later. But there is only one destination, there is no other. Shak karo je dusar hoye. Whether that's for us, for Hindus, for Christians, for Muslims, doesn't matter, we're all going to the exact same place. So let's look for that sreshth phal, that supreme reward, which is understanding that we are all one. There is only one. Maharaj has used one numerical in the whole of Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, and that is ek. There's no other number. It comes right at the beginning. Ek oankar. Ek. There is only one. Please, let's not get stuck in this duality of there is another. Let's come together as one, because that's who we truly are. Put aside these petty fights. Put aside these ill feelings. That's not why we're here. Sreshth phal milda vya par aapa lende hi nahi. We want to hold on to these small things. I'm not going to talk to him ever again. Just let it go. realize कित्थों उपजै कह रहा है कह माहे समावै कित्थों उपजै where have we come from कह रहा है how are we living now because this dictates कह where are we going next कह माहे समावै समावना ही आ वापस we are just a boond a droplet in the ocean where does that droplet go back in the ocean do you want a place in that ocean if so how soon do you want it now do you want it at the end of this lifetime do you want 10 more lifetimes 100 8.4 million more either way you still have to go back into that ocean so the faster you do it the better for you please forgive all my mistakes I know I've made many and it's my beinti to you that please let's take these panktiyan and let's connect let's do this simran let's find these ways of connection find a way to explain to your own individual mind tu jyot sarup hai it's nobody else it is just you we all have that light of Akal Purakh Vaheguru residing deep within us we just have to make it so big that it shines forth and we can't see anything else so please forgive me and bless me that I can carry on this seva hopefully Maharaj Kirpa Karan I'll be back here next week on Saturday 7 to 8 p.m. everybody is more than welcome Sunday 8th we will be doing Holla Mahalla by the children at the Pathshala so please it would be lovely to see you 2 days in a row Lekha katahana chutiya khen khen pulan har baksan har baksala nanak par utar Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh